that Senator Miller brought up, and that also relates to the handouts that you have and the phone boards. Let me just tell everyone what is going on. There are two islands. They're currently in my district. They actually move into Representative Taylor's district that are in between Dunwoody and Doraville. And they were created, the islands were created when Dunwoody incorporated. And they are small parcels that, as far as residents, I think it's like, remember how many, maybe 200 people. But anyway, the bottom line is that they've created sort of a law enforcement headache for Doraville and the county because they're significantly cut off from the remainder of unincorporated DeKalb County. So the City of Doraville passed a unanimous resolution requesting that we move ahead with a legislative annexation of the two parcels this year. And I believe they felt some urgency this year because of Representative Larry O'Neill's bill that would do away with the legislative annexations, as I understand it. So Senator Miller has that bill, and it is currently in the Senate. Now, in one of the parcels is a mosque, which you may have seen in the news recently, and there has been some controversy about the code enforcement related to the mosque. They've been in front of DeKalb courts. There, I believe, is an ongoing court action related to their lack of being compliant with code enforcement, but they apparently also, according to Senator Miller, have been granted a certificate of occupancy by DeKalb County as of just a few days ago. So that is the background on the mosque. There are several gentlemen who you have met who are in attendance here today who have been opposed to the mosque being annexed into Doraville. The reason provided that they felt that Doraville would not do an adequate job in maintaining the code enforcement for the mosque that has been started by DeKalb County. But as far as that goes, it's important to note that the DeKalb has now apparently granted a certificate of occupancy for the mosque, and this legislative annexation would not even take effect until the beginning of next year, giving the DeKalb court system time to, because this action's already ongoing, it should all be well done by that date at any rate. So that's what's going on with it.
Representative Henson.
Okay. How much commercial is involved in this?
You know, the biggest...
What's the fiscal impact to the county? And do we have an opinion from the county? Do we have someone representing the county here, speaking up on behalf of this? Because I know this has come up before and I've asked. So
I don't think... Well, this has come up before through an annexation referendum. But Doraville attempted to annex a broader area at that point. Yeah, these are like these two little parcels. They also attempted to annex a much larger area that has a lot more voters in it. This has very few voters. I know the area pretty well. You know, I think one of the main reasons it went down is the Oasis is in one of these parcels.
And adult entertainment.
I understand.
Right, and so the Oasis was against being annexed, and I believe that they came out in full force, you know, against this annexation. If Senator Miller was here, he could describe to you, you know, what his feeling is about doing a legislative annexation. As far as I'm concerned, this is something that has been festering for a while. From the minute I was elected, I was approached about this issue by the Chief of Police, by the Doraville City Council, and they have unanimously requested this, and so it's certainly not something that I oppose because it is a problem. I mean, these parcels are a problem.
I understand all of this, but I want to know fiscal impact.
I do not know that.
And I think Phyllis is behind you. Do we have any comment at all? Do we have? I mean, we know this is going on, Phyllis. So I mean, you've been aware. So who can tell us something? You're not with the county, are you?
Hold on.
I know, but that's not answering my question because I'm looking for a certain dollar amount.
Yeah, I'm not aware.
Just may I ask one quick question? Because I know this is Doraville, but I've never heard us talk about fiscal impacts on annexation.
Because you're taking the Oasis.
I understand that.
Do you know how much money all these little things begin to represent how much money we're pulling out
I
of the
know,
county.
we've done several of them lately that
No,
people are
but
saying have
that's a
the
big
county.
amount, that one thing.
Well, I'm just trying to know because I'm thinking we need to at least change the direction because we're signing off on annexations then that you're saying that has bad fiscal impact to the county and we've never recognized that before.
I've been asking these questions all along.
But you've been signing, I didn't sign them.
I know.
Okay.
We do have two county commissioners here. One Elaine Boyer, other one Jeff Rader.
I would be delighted to hear from the county commissioners on this issue.
Well, and we have been talking with you, with the mayor and the police chiefs, and we're fine in supporting this. There's not a fiscal impact that we're opposed to. This is really a public safety issue, and I support Representative Parent and Representative Taylor in this issue. Our office has spent numerous hours and hours. Bob has been out there 100 times in trying to do this, and the police chiefs have been trying. It needs one jurisdiction, and Doraville is going to get it, and so I support you, Representative Parent. And Taylor.
Okay. I appreciate y'all looking at the nuanced aspects of these annexations because I think the member is right that each of these do include a specific fiscal impact both in the tax base that would be transferred, but also in the cost of services. I think that if you look at annexation policy, typically the top of the list on justified annexations end up being in unincorporated islands that are surrounded by other incorporated areas. Certainly this area does meet that criteria. I can't, we don't have any analysis that says it costs us this much to serve the area versus we get this much in tax revenue for it. So, I think that you've got to look at it more conceptually because we simply don't have those numbers there. But, obviously there is both, I think there are three major land uses there. It's the Oasis and the shopping center that it's in. And then isn't there an apartment complex in this annexation area? So that's typically a high service demand area. And then I think there's some other adjacent properties, not very many single family homes there. So we have not voted on this as a commission, but again, if you're having to make the decision on your own, it's obvious that this issue of annexing unincorporated islands may be different than incorporating whole new cities or annexing choice tax digest that is contiguous to existing tax digest.
All I'm trying to do is make the constituents who live in the area happy and safe. And we have really tried desperately, and the police chief O'Brien has set up sting after sting after sting, and I know that we've all been working on it, so we hope this will solve the problem.
I mean, it's a problem area. There's no disagreement about that. I mean, they're islands.
Did we hear from someone who's opposed to the annexation?
Yeah, we strongly disagree with the commissioners. Well, we letting the elected officials talk first. Okay. And then we'll decide whether
I'm the chief of staff for Elaine. I've worked closely on this issue. I spoke to Commissioner Rader about it last week. I spoke to Chief O'Brien from DeKalb County. The problem issues are the Oasis and the Strip Shopping Center, which has several late night clubs that are establishing that are becoming huge code enforcement problems for us. The coordination of the City of Doraville and the City of and DeKalb County on the police protection on Tilly Mill Road is a extremely difficult coordination process and a big drain on the police getting through all of the incorporated areas to get to these two islands. And to the mosque section itself, I just received an email from Andrew Baker, who is the Assistant Planning Director down at DeKalb County. The mosque has received all its permits and has received its CO. So the mosque is finished for all intents and purposes, and any continued violations are under Judge Withers' court right now, and they're about 60 days out from their next court hearing. Even if something were to happen again, there would be another 60 or 90 day extension that Judge Withers could put on, and that would all be completed prior to these areas being incorporated by the City of Doraville. And the Mayor Pittman of the City of Doraville and I speak weekly about this, and she is strongly in support of this becoming over to the City of Doraville as well.
It was a unanimous City Council resolution, and as I said, from the minute I was running, I was approached about these problem areas from Chief King of the Doraville Police and their city council. So it's not a new thing from my perspective.
All right, what are you asking?
Nothing. I figured everyone was curious about all the handouts and the poster boards, and so I just wanted to fill the delegation in on what the issue is and what's going on. Senator Miller has this bill in the Senate. It has not come to us yet. But just to enlighten my colleagues.
All right, and the way that this works, those of you who are sitting around this table that are not elected officials, we do invite individuals to come in to make presentations to the delegation formally through a process. We're here at the end of the session here now. I know you guys really do oppose parts or all of this particular piece of legislation. Normally we don't do the back and forth with the community. However, since I'm a nice guy, and we do have a sparse crowd here, and Representative Parent and Senator Miller wanted this information to be presented. I will take one of you guys, whoever's going to be the chief spokesman. Is it you?
Yes, sir.
5 minutes, your best shot.
I got it. 5 minutes. All right, this is the tank. Excuse me.
Say your name.
Joe Newton, N-E-W-T-O-N, like a fig Newton. This is the tank farm at Doraville. There are 90 of these huge containers. Some of them as much as 150,000 gallons of gasoline. This is immediately adjacent to the mosque property. There are 1,500 members of the mosque already. Most of them are very nice people. They're Sunnis. They're very pleasant people. But there's some of them in there, they're not so pleasant. Now, this annexation would make the mosque grow to about 6,000 members. Again, most of them are pretty nice people, but there's some of them that are not real nice. Okay? We think this is a Homeland Security issue in and of itself. Of course, we reported this to the various Homeland Security agencies, and they're working on it. Now, the mosque has, as you see from your handout there, Tom, you got another one, please? Yes. On the front page, you'll see around 300 people at a typical Friday afternoon meeting of the mosque. These folks meet in two sessions, and this will pick up to 3 or 4 sessions as we go into the Ramadan season. And of course, there'll be over 1,000 people a day over that Ramadan. They all use the same sewer facility for 3 houses on this side of the property, and the county is helping us clean that up, make them hook to the public sewer, but they got the same issue on the other side of the property. On the second page, you'll see their building standard as enforced by Doraville. Now, this is disgusting. Doraville does not have the capability of enforcing building standards. They don't even have a building official. They've got a part-time guy that comes down 1 week as 1 day as the basis, and there are 2 code officers primarily concerned with mowing grass and trimming bushes. Again, nice people, but not qualified. This is what it looks like after the county has gotten it kind of cleaned up. Not bad, but bear in mind the fact that they've given them a certificate of occupancy on 1 or 2 buildings is only the start. There are 5 more buildings in this group that have to be cleaned up, and they've done nothing on the other buildings. Now, these folks have been put on criminal probation, and their criminal probation would run out about the time this annexation would become law. And at that point, this property would deteriorate back into this and will continue to ruin the neighborhood. They've driven down property values in the neighborhood, and this is part of their business strategy, to make the neighborhood just as undesirable as they could possibly be, and drives down property values, and has allowed them to acquire about 30 pieces of property in and around the mosque and around this area. Now, all we're asking for is a clean, decent place to live. If you go through with this annexation, this thing is going to explode. Not only into this area, but across over into Dunwoody, where they're already acquiring pieces of property. We think it's a bad idea. We think it needs some more study. On the money issue, this is essentially a